Hi, I'm Mark Hinchliffe, motorbike writer, and today we're looking at the first Indian museum in Australia. It's been set up by Darryl White. Darryl, tell us a little bit about the museum.
Yeah, well, the museum, I've always had a dream of starting a museum with my Indian motorcycles and that. So I'm going to open that up on the 15th of March. It's not only just the museum about Indian motorcycle, it's also got a lot of history, memorabilia, and a lot of good old stories dating back from where they started in the original days, race history and stuff like that. And there's so much more to it, just the Indian motorcycle name with their brands and marketing and everything else.
Okay, and how many bikes have you got?
We've got approximately about 20 Indian motorcycles. In the museum there will be probably about 16 to 18 motorcycles on display. There would be also a couple of Indian motorcycles that are actually going to be loaned to me to suit the different areas and the themes around the place. Yeah, I think that's pretty good in that area there.
What's the oldest motorcycle you've got?
Well, the oldest Indian motorcycle, I believe, is my 1908 original paint Indian that's in Australia. I don't know of any older original paint bikes. There's some earlier bikes, but not original paint.
What's it called?
It's called an Indian Camelback, which George Hendy and Carlos Hedstrom started in 1901, and that's what brought the Indian name on.
Tell me a little more about the Camelback. It's got throttle on the left and advance and retard on the right grip. Why is that?
Well, it's an old story about it, and everyone seems to believe it, but it's always set up the throttle on the left-hand throttle, so your right hand was free if you're a police officer, then mainly used if you wanted to draw your revolver to shoot someone in that style, in that early areas.
Okay, and what's your favourite bike in the collection?
My favourite bike in the collection would be that 08, because it's such rare and so hard to get that sort of history of that really early stuff. But my most favourite bike is my 1953 Chief, which I seem to ride everywhere. It's just a great rider. It's all set up and balanced well. It's got the teleforks in the front, and I've set it up with the electric start and 4-speed box, so you can ride that in any traffic, any conditions, and really enjoy it.
Well, it must be hard to ride because it's got the suicide shift and the left-hand clutch.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes it all interesting with an Indian, because you got your left-hand throttle, you got a right-hand advance, then you've got a foot clutch also involved, and then you've got a gear shift on the tank that you've got to change too. So that's what I've always loved about motorcycles. It's something different, and I've always loved the Indian motorcycle, and I have a lot of enjoyment riding it that way.
And you've got a lot of people coming up from Sydney and Melbourne, I believe, for the launch.
Yes, that's correct. We've got approximately about 20 riders coming up out of Melbourne and Brisbane, picking up some other riders along the way, which we've gave it a nickname called the Get On Board the Indian Express.
Terrific. And the first night's going to be free. After that, how much do you pay?
Yeah, well, the first day will be free, but after that, it's going to be $15 for an adult, and any kids, any children or anyone up to under the age of 16 will be free, to give them some enjoyment to see my passion that I've done. Okay,
and it'll be open on weekends?
Yes, so Saturday and Sundays will be open. I am looking into maybe doing a Friday or a Saturday night once a month for all the enthusiasts that's got cars or motorcycles can come over and just bring them all over and put them up for show.
Okay, we've seen all the bikes here. You've got Scouts, you've got the Fours. You haven't got any of the new ones. What do you think of the new Indian Chief?
Yeah, I think it's quite a good bike, and it's good to see that heritage come back. It also helps drives all the early stuff, and it's great to see them building their history behind theirs now, and I think it's quite a nice bike.
Okay, well, there you go. Get on down to Geebung in Brisbane on March 15 for the opening of the Indian Museum.